The final British entrant is David Toyer with his quarter-scale Hawker Hurricane. This model is covered with the markings of Squadron Leader Bush Cotton of the 17th Burma Squadron.
I'm David Toyer from Northamptonshire in England. It's mainly balsa wood, conventional construction, apart from the fiberglass spinner cowl and obviously the plastic canopy, but the rest of it is conventional. There's no foam on it at all. It's nylon covering with traditional dope and filler and cellulose paint. It was built originally for a competition at Duxford in England, and it took only a matter of about 4 months to build because the competition date was, I was actually still finishing it on the day of the competition on the actual airfield.
The sight of a Hurricane against a blue sky would not seem complete without the company of at least one Spitfire. This one was in Florida just for the ride and not actually entered in the competition. Pilots of the full-size aircraft also had landing problems due to the very narrow track of the Spitfire's undercarriage. Another aircraft here just for the fun was this flying machine. Don Holman thrilled the crowd with this unique aerobatic display. More aerobatics were provided by this pair of Stinger aircraft, both having the visual advantage of built-in smoke systems.
I'm with Wayne Voiles and Bubba Spivey, who designed and...
Strip wing, sheeted over, but it's just cap strip, so it gives a rib look to it. And then you have a plywood fuselage with a plastic wing cover and plastic turtle deck and plastic tank cover and plastic cowling and wheel pants. It's a quick building giant scale model. To get them in the bones, they got 5.5 horsepower. They got a slimline muffler system on them, a true turn spinner. They got Futaba radios in both of them. Wayne built the planes and actually designed them in 1 month. And I helped him a little bit, but he gets all the credit for that. And then we toured it up from there after the IMA Festival to November. And we try to do a routine with the two airplanes, and we like to fly low and deadly. But so far, 350 flights, we still haven't crashed them. We've knocked the landing gear out of one of them, and wheel pants come loose or something like that, but everything on them's original still from the day one. This is the G62 with a smoke system. This is the smoke valve, which is servo activated, which is an on-off valve, which just pinches the line like a pair of hemostats, really. And it's made by Dubro. And then there's two other valves that are made. One's made by Harry Higley, and his is another kind of pinch-off valve. And then there's actually another new valve, which we're starting to use. It's made by B&B Specialties out of Granger, Indiana. And this is just like, they all run off just a regular old Futaba servo, any kind of servo will work it. And then you have your smoke pump, which is a diaphragm pump. Most of them are either ran off of a diaphragm pump or an electric pump. This just so happens is a B&B diaphragm pump, which is all it is actually an outboard motor pump. Is diaphragm motor, like on Mercury motors they have them. And then this is the pressure off the motor. We're just taking crankcase pressure off the motor and putting it into the diaphragm pump, and then that pressurizes the fuel tank and pulls the smoke fluid, which is B&B Specialty, or what you can actually use is diesel fuel and some transmission fluid, or Corvus oil, which is a Texaco product, thin it with diesel. And then that's just dumped into the smoke muffler, which is a slimline smoke muffler. There's also B&B Specialties. There's Eric Dern who makes one. But what we're using on this airplane is a slimline. They're out of Mesa, Arizona. And it's just, what's neat about it is it has a coil inside the muffler that dumps the smoke juice. It preheats it and then dumps it in the exhaust. And then it dumps out. And this thing really's got awesome smoke. You can actually bury the plane in the smoke system.
Returning to their second Top Gun event, Nick Zeroli and Bill Steffes entered a new model of the Beechcraft D-18.
Bill Steffes, I'm from Schenectady, New York. I've come down here to Top Gun with a Beechcraft D-18. Plans from Nick Zeroli Plans. He designed the aircraft. We're in the team event down here at Top Gun. I got approximately 20,000 rivets that were placed on the aircraft to simulate the real one. And it's done after an active aircraft right now that's hangared in Red Bluff, California. Captain Mike Rust is the owner of the aircraft, and I liked his color scheme, and that's what I designed it after.
I'm Nick Zeroli from Smithtown, New York. It's on Long Island. I operate Nick Zeroli Plans and deal mainly in giant scale plans, cowls, canopies, and accessories. This is a Beechcraft D-18, which is my newest plan. Bill Steffes built it. for this competition. It's 1/5 scale, it's 114-inch wingspan, weighs about 33 to 34 pounds, and it flies very, very well. The Beechcraft D-18, I think, is an airplane that has been really neglected as far as being done as a model. And in giant scale, it makes especially impressive model. This design, it's all wood. It's built up, sheet balsa covered, fiberglassed and painted with epoxy paint. It builds very easily, very straightforward construction. There's nothing really tricky about it.
Out the Navy version of the C-45 Beech Twin. The brand new drawings that have been made available by Nick. This is what he does for a living. And Bill Steffes, the builder, standing next to him, constructed #1 off the blueprints, and it's in the air today. Not only that, I just saw a part of the C-45. That's right, it went to the lake. I think it's a fishing troll sign. Cargo door. Yeah, it's a door. Something like that. The pilots used to tell me that's how they lubricated their gear. Terry, we use drop tank, which is 6F. And the rear one's Speedster, Brazil. Nick Zeroli, landing at Beech D-18, his new creation with Bill Steffes standing by. This again is a team-scale entry. This is really a large aircraft.
Bob Fiorenzi also returned to the Top Gun for the second time with his award-winning F-18 Hornet.
Hello, I'm Bob Fiorenzi from Winter Springs, Florida, and this aircraft is a yellow aircraft F-18 Hornet. They had a few of these used in the Gulf War, but obviously not in this paint scheme. This was the prototype back in '78, I believe. It has twin Dynamax OS 91, and it has Bob Violet quiet pipes, muffled quiet pipes, dual in-flight mixture controls. The length with the probe on it, which presently now it's not on there, but it's 110 inches. The wingspan is roughly 74. It's painted with acrylic lacquer paint, which is basically a car paint. And it's covered with a product, well, over the balsa, it's covered with a product called Fast Cover, which I sell out of the hobby shop. And basically, Fast Cover is similar to Monocoat, except for two major differences. It's about 20% lighter. Also from Yellow Aircraft, they supply the cylinder and the mounting mechanism to actually mount it in the aircraft. And they also supply this drag cylinder and the strut here, along with the carrier arm. The detail was added by myself, all the hydraulic lines, and there's extra rings and tie down. The main landing gear, when there isn't any weight on it, it does extend to the basically straight or flat position. In this way, when the landing gear is retracted, it's a very thin profile, and in conjunction with the rotation of the landing gear, the main landing gear, it does fit snugly underneath the tailpipes. This plane weighs approximately 27 pounds. It has been flown approximately 30 times, and I would imagine the speed to be about 130 to 140. It also uses 7% nitro fuel, which I have started to manufacture through Morgan Incorporated. And basically, the main difference between my fuel and maybe someone else's fuel is the fact that you can see a vapor trail. and it helps to see the engines run rather than try and hear them.
I told Bob to clean his glasses earlier. The great pilot, believe me, knew exactly where the airplane was.
This sophisticated aircraft has won many competitions, and with this year's display, it's easy to see why.
Bob Frenzy, FAT Hornet.
The aircraft in this competition were judged not only by their flying, but also on their authenticity. Static judging was an intensive job, with the aircraft being compared to their full-size counterparts through the use of many reference books, photographs and plans. Under close scrutiny here is an F-86 Sabre, one of several entered in this year's event. The man behind these very successful aircraft is Bob Violet.
Hi, I'm Bob Violet. We're here at Top Gun 91 at the Polo Club in West Palm, and I'm graciously adorned by an array of Sabre jets here that you can see. The Sabre jets have been on the market about 3 or 4 years now and have been in competition for 3 of those years, and it looks like it's getting to be a very popular airplane with some of the top drawer pilots. The airplane it's basically a fiberglass foam balsa carbon fiber airplane with the Viojet fan and the KBV-82 engine and a full flow inlet system that allows the air to be pulled in the front, exhausted out the back, just as a real airplane without the need for a cheater hole. And that comes from good fan design, good inlet design. The airplane has a great speed range of about 30 to up to 186 miles an hour. This particular Skyblazer airplane won the 1990 Top Gun competition, this time last year at Mesa, Arizona, and recently it was clocked at 186 miles per hour with radar, so it does have a very high upper end speed. Now, during the competition, the pilots of these scale entries here will not fly the airplanes at their full power or full speed potential, because it's not conducive to staying within the boundaries of the field and presenting the model properly for the scale judges. On the right end here we have 2 what we call sport Sabres done in air show paint schemes. They're not designed to compete, of course, but just used for air show demonstration work. We'll fly these airplanes during this intermission times, and we will allow these airplanes to get close to their top speed potential, 180 plus miles an hour. The orange one happens to be powered by a brand new engine we call the BVM-91. All these Sabres weigh between 12.5 and 13 pounds. Some of them are equipped with a gyro on the rudder, some of them are not. They have about 9 or 10 servos in them. Most of them have my daughter Patty Violet. Turned 24 years old yesterday. She's been flying for 10 years. And she started flying as a pattern flyer, and this will be her first scale competition. Frank Tiano started this team scale thing. It's a rather unique idea in scale, and it allows a very good builder and a very good flyer to get together to present the model for the enjoyment of spectators, hobby, and the enjoyment of competitors themselves. The models are finished in an array of film. I think it's Presto cover, Cover-Right Presto, I'm sorry, and it's a chrome-looking finish that is ironed on panel by panel, and then it's scuffed, and then the actual paint is either butted to it or put over it. This airplane has rivet detail all over it that is done with a rivet transfer type of material. The airplane just to its left is done with various types of lacquer and enamel and epoxy aluminums used on different panels to create the aluminum airplane that really looks good.
And then begin the program. Lyle Copino, documentation photos. See some of these aircraft here today, and you think you might have
My name is Larry Kramer from Naples, Florida, and I have a model of a XB-70 Valkyrie. It's a 1/21 scale, and it's equipped with two fan units from Bob Violet Models. It has 17 servos and features a variable geometry wing and windshield. Landing gear with truck set do-fold against the struts. And it has dual disc brakes with air. It also features 3 drogue chutes that jettison off the rear after touchdown. And it measures 108 inches long with a 60-inch wingspan and weighs 35 pounds. It's made of balsa wood and plywood, and it's covered with fiberglass. And we use carbon fiber in the wing area and on the wing tips. It took us 4 months to scratch build it, and we spent many, many hours, late nights. And the problems we encountered were linkage for the wingtips was most of the problem. And also the inlets, making the inlets correctly, and also the fitting all the parts in the airplane, because the airplane is full.
Unfortunately, this aircraft wasn't quite ready for flight, but hopefully we'll see it in the air next year. Now, on to the presentation of the winner's trophy and the all-important title of Top Gun 91.
the aircraft that flew some maneuvers totally different than the contest maneuvers that everybody fell in love with, that David Platt commented on the sound of, was that beautiful Sea Fury of Mel Whitley, our number one Top Gun. 1991 Top Gun, Mel Whitley with the Sea Fury. Well, I'm sure that there's not too much damage to that Hurricane.
All the aircraft we've just seen were not seriously damaged and all were repairable. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said of this beautiful Memphis Belle B-17, seen here on its final flight. A reminder that even the world's top pilots sometimes lose their fight against gravity.
Bob Campbell's our pilot. It's an unfortunate accident. He put on a great show for us. Let's give him a round of applause.